Hello, this is Lucas, and in this video I'm going to be going over variables for JavaScript. So you can see here I have our script.js that is linked to our HTML. So I'll close this for now. We don't need this. We just need to worry about our script.js. Okay, so to declare a variable, we need to use the keyword let. Now there are two other ones. I'll go into them in a couple of minutes, but the main one is let. So let's say we want to create a variable named name, for example. We'll have to do let name semicolon. Okay, so we have created a variable. Now we can actually give this a value. All right, so we can give this variable name a value. So we can do name is equal to let's do something, I don't know, John, and then let's have a semicolon at the end. If you can see, after every single line of code, I put a semicolon at the end. All right, so that's very important. Right, and now what I can do is we can do console.log, and this will just log that name into our console. So if I save that, we go back to our page, I refresh that, you can see we have John here. Okay, now this doesn't have to be on two lines. So for example, let's remove this, or let's just do this first. Let's do name is equal to John up here, or let's just do Peter. We can do it like this as well. We can do it all in one line. So I can refresh this. You can see we have Peter now. Okay. We can also obviously we can have these as values or as integers. So I can have a number here instead. And see we have the number 5. Now let's say we want to create a few of these. So let's say we have the name Peter here. We can create another one called let's do surname, and let's do this as, I don't know, John. And let's say we have another one called, let's do age. We can equal this to, let's say, 22. Okay. So now what I can do is I can pass in, for example, 2 values. Refresh this. You can see now we have Peter John. Now obviously we can also pass in age. So now we have Peter John and then the age, which is 22. Now we don't need to have three separate lines to declare 3 separate variables. We can put this all in one line. So instead of having it like this, we can have let, then we have the first variable that we are setting. Then we can just separate them using a semicolon. So we have let's do last name or surname. Surname, we'll equal this to John, and then we can have another comma. And we can do something like age is equal to 22. Sure. And this will give us the exact same output, but now it is all on one line. Now what else we can do is we can make this look a bit cleaner. So what we can do is we can have these on separate lines like this, and this will also be fine, right? Because now we can clearly see which variable has what value. Okay, just like that. We can also use the variable var instead. So you can see where we are using let here, but we can change this and we can use var. We can do name is equal to Peter. We can also use this. Now the difference between var and let I'm not going to go into in this video. There is a bit more that I need to go over with var, so I'm going to do that in a separate video. But for now, let's just assume that var does the exact same thing as let. And now we can refresh this and you can see var works in the exact same way. Now I have declared name here, but what we can do is we can actually change this value. So let's change this value after we log it. So what we can do is we can do name is equal to, let's do John. And then let's just log this again. That. Let's go back here. You can see firstly we have printed out Peter, and then we change the name to John, and then we have then we have printed out the name John. What else we can do is we can have a new one of these. So I'm going to change this to left for now. So let's just remove this. What we can do is we can do let's do name2, but let's not declare it. Let's not give it a value. What we can do then is we can do name2 is equal to name and this will just give this value of whatever value this has. So just gonna name2 is gonna equal to name is equal to Peter. That means name2 is equal to Peter. So I can print this out. Let's go back here, refresh that. You can see now name and name2 both have the same name. Okay, one issue that I will say now that we cannot do is, for example, let's say we have the variable name name. If you want to create a new variable with the same name, we cannot do this, right? Because we have already declared a variable name called name, we cannot declare another variable with the same name as this. It has to be some other value. Now, something to take into account whenever we name our variables is, so the very first thing that's very important is the name can only contain either letters, digits, and the $sign or the underscore symbols. So what I mean by that is we can only have a letter, okay, a digit, or between these two values here. Okay, so once again, a letter, a number, or these two values here. You can't have, for example, we can't have this, or we can't have a plus in our variable name. Also, the name cannot start with a number. It has to start with a letter or those two symbols. So we can have, for example, 5 here. Okay. If we do want to use 5 in our variable name, we'll have to declare it at the very end or just after the first one. We just can't have it at the very start. So what we can do is, because we can use the $sign symbol to create a variable, I can just set this $sign to be equal to Peter, or we can just change the value to like 5, and then I can have another one with the underscore, because we can use these two values. I can equal this to 4. Okay, and then what we can do is I can create an alert, and an alert, what we can do is we can do the $sign plus the underscore, and whenever we print this out, we can go back, see we get an alert of 9. Alright, so we can use these two symbols, but we can't use a number at the start. For example, this will cause an error. Okay, and we can't use, for example, other characters like the underscore or slash whenever we declare variables. Obviously, another thing that we cannot do is we cannot declare our variable as another keyword. So for example, we can't declare our variable as let. For example, this will cause an error, okay? Or we can't do something like return, okay? We also cannot do this because this is a keyword. It's an assigned keyword and it does something. We can't actually use this, okay? So that's very important. Now the next thing is I'm going to be going over the constant, right? So const, and let's just do name. I'm going to equal this to Peter. What the constant does is this value cannot be changed. Alright, so if we try to do a name is equal to something like John, and then if we do console.log, then if we do name, print this out, you can see we get an error because we are trying to assign a value to a constant, and we cannot do that. Okay, that's some very important to take into account. So I think that's about it for this video on variables. Hope this video helped. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.